I know I tweet quite a bit, some of you all know that, but I've got my phone for the clicker, so I'm not standing there looking at it. Thanks for coming along today. I want to talk to you about Amazon shipping, how to compete against Amazon. There's actually a talk tomorrow from Brian Lange about how to work with Amazon. So we're kind of contrasting talks a little bit, but I'm focusing very much on the shipping aspect of it. So the Amazon effect, I think like everyone in here obviously is aware of Amazon. We have to really look closely at what they're doing in the market and how easy they make it for us to buy from them. We're all using it. I'm not sure that we all want to be using it, but it's really, they've taken away a lot of the problems around shopping online, and it's up to, I think, the Magento community and e-commerce in general to react to this. And we are starting to see it, but I see slow progress from a shipping perspective, and that's why I'm here today. I think what you see in the checkout is around, you know when you're going to get this product delivered, you trust in that system, you know how much it's going to cost you, it's often free. There's a lot of incentive there coming from Amazon for you to shop online. If you look at the spend that they're doing, it's actually, their shipping spend is increasing as a net on their sales. It's around 46 billion in the last year. And if you take that in some context, they're only getting in revenue around 12 billion on Amazon Prime. So they're very heavily subsidizing the shipping. They see this as a key part of their strategy, and there's big reasons around that. The facts are that it's over half of us are using the shipping to determine whether or not we shop on a site. There's something psychological about it that causes us not to want to pay for shipping, and Amazon takes advantage of that. The market, I see it reacting quite a lot. If you look at what Walmart's doing, they recently announced their fulfillment aspects that they've got. They are doing free 2-day shipping over the Christmas period, and Target are doing that as well, with actually no minimum spend on that. Walmart itself, around the grocery side, they only had a 2% coverage of the population back in 2014. I think at the end of this year they'll have around about 70%. So there's a massive focus on this side. I've also seen this with Macy's and what they're doing, and the pickup from store has really escalated over recent years in the US. If you look to the UK, then that's been a thing for a number of years, but in the US it's quite surprising to me that that's taken off so quickly, and I think shows the power of that. So I'm the founder of Shipper HQ, and we do shipping and around in the checkout and the cart and the experience side. We've been doing this since 2008, and another company, Webshop Apps, I own that as well. So I want to talk about free shipping. I think it's a bit of a misnomer sometimes. We see this from merchants, and they say to us, I don't need a shipping solution, I just do free shipping. I think that's, they're not really fully understanding what free shipping can give you. If you go on something like Jet and you look at their free shipping, there's a lot of constraints about where they deliver. For instance, if you want to go to Alaska, Hawaii, or PO boxes, then you really need restrictions around that. But it is a major decision factor for customers. 4 out of 5 are using that for influencing them. And I think what you have to do with free shipping is use it intelligently and think about when you offer it, at what price level you offer it, does it actually work for you, and count that as part of one of your costs in terms of your marketing side of your business. And then really understand the mechanics of it and look at your shipping at the end of the month. And it really plays into date and time as well. I think you can, with free shipping, you really want to get that at the front of your website because it's such a major aspect of what customers are looking for. When you get into the checkout side, you can then start pushing other services to them. 1 in 4 customers is looking for next day delivery, so you can use that to your advantage, but you do need to guarantee that you can get it next day. So you need some logistics around working that out so that you can get that to them, because this is your first physical point of contact with the customer. If you can't deliver next day and they leave it next day, well then they're probably not going to come back to you. So it's a very important aspect of it. And it surprises me constantly the amount of websites that I go on where it doesn't tell me when I'm going to get it delivered. And in some cases, there's absolutely no indication of that. People want to know. Everyone wants to know, and that's, I think, the effect of Amazon on us and the generations now. Everybody wants everything tomorrow, and we have to kind of try and deliver that. One of the things you can do, though, is sort of surcharge it. So if you know that a quarter of your customers need it next day, it gives you an opportunity to claw back some of your costs on free shipping. And we see customers doing this quite a bit. So you can basically put a surcharge on, maybe charge 10 or 15% more, and then that's offsetting when you're losing maybe on some of the free shipping. We also see customers where they'll say, we offer free shipping, but only on certain product lines. As soon as you get larger, then we can't offer it to you. And then other people are kind of embedding it in the costs, and they're giving discounts, so based on spend, based on size of products. It's really important that you think about what you're shipping. Like if you're selling cupcakes, that's a very different thing to ship from selling lobsters or selling fishing rods. So it's very much unique to your own demands of your business and what you can do. So for some of our customers that are selling awkward size items like fishing rods and gym equipment, stuff like box packing really comes into play there. And determining what they can do. And if you're in the B2B space, there's much more ability, I think, to charge around the shipping and to charge accurate pricing. But if you're just giving guess prices, then you're going to lose customers based on that. Even things like the address type, are you selling to residential or business? Knowing that information can really improve how you're competing against other merchants inside your space. So it's something that you should be thinking about, and too often we don't see that. I would recommend that you go and negotiate with your carriers. I think the days of shipping with a single carrier are gone. Technology is really catching up now to allow you to put multiple carriers in the cart and to do things like rate shop in real time to provide the best carrier for the best products to that destination. There's a lot of savings that you can make from going out and negotiating carriers. And the other thing, like what you see here on the right-hand side, is around showing those shipping options. And I think this is a typical Magento store that I see where they offer USPS and UPS. I don't think people really want to know what type of box it's coming in. And they're not interested in that. What they're interested in is a simplified view on the prices that's actually best for them. And you need to think about that. There can be a lot of work going on underneath, but what actually shows to the customer should be really simple and make it very easy for them to advance, even with stuff like default shipping options. So they can advance and take the default, which is maybe free, and then they can go back and change it if they want to. The experience of shipping is really becoming important in order to affect conversion. And again, Amazon has played to this for many years, and I think merchants still have some work to catch up on some of this. Yeah, fulfillment. This is getting bigger and bigger. I mean, you're seeing ShipWire is obviously a traditional one that you see around Walmart getting into the space. There's companies like ShipBob around that are just coming on. It's an important factor. If you can have multiple fulfillment centers, then you get much more coverage around your 1 and 2 day shipping. I mean, you see that on the right-hand side, showing you the shipping options and how they're affected to get the product there, depending on the amount of centers that you've actually got. What's important to the customer is understanding that. So some people want to show this and other people don't want to show this. But if you really want to show accurate information to your customer, having the ability to do a split checkout is a great thing if you're coming from multiple origins. Because maybe some stuff you can get it to them tomorrow, maybe other stuff there's a longer lead time on that. And that also affects if you've got stuff in stock or if you're drop shipping and that kind of thing. The key, though, is to keep it simple still. And I think that sometimes what people will do is merge this information together and then they'll show like the worst case scenario. So if they've got products coming from 2 or 3 different places and the latest they get it there's 3 days, this is what they'll show. So there's different ways of approaching the fulfillment side. But I would definitely recommend, especially if you're in the smaller goods, looking at fulfillment centers and how you can best utilize them in order to meet the demands of today. And the base standard really now is becoming getting it there within 2 days to your customer. That's what people are looking for. So store pickup. Yeah, this is, it's becoming a big thing, right? Everybody seems to be jumping on this one. We did a site in New York, a chef site, where people pick up cakes from there. And it was really important to them to be able to show, could they meet the delivery times that people wanted, because they wanted it for birthdays and stuff. So there's lead times you have to worry about. You have to worry about, are there days when we're not producing? Are there days when we can't actually have it at the store? Are there days around when we can deliver this? And also time slots for grocery, for instance. You don't want to have a load of produce sitting there waiting for somebody to come in. You want to give them a time slot and then have it ready, in a just-in-time model. I think store pickup it's something we're going to see even more. I think the UPS access point, if you don't have stores, is a great option because you can deliver it on a business charge, so it's cheaper for the customer. And if, for instance, you're in a big city like New York, sometimes it's easier for you to go out at lunchtime and pick it up from there rather than wait for it. So we're going to see a lot there. This is massive in England already, and I think we'll continue to grow and we'll see new innovation around this area. So the cross-border side, I'm going to finish really early actually. I just noticed I need to slow down. The cross-border side, I think a lot of merchants are scared of it. That's what I feel. They're worried about, how do I ship cross-border? How can I guarantee the package is going to arrive? How do I get the costs across to the customer? And then from a customer perspective, they're worried about what extra taxes they're going to pay, because traditionally there was this unknown cost that was associated with cross-border trade. Now, there's a number of businesses that work very well in the cross-border space. Particularly if you're in, obviously, designer wear is something that, is a global thing now. The world is becoming smaller there. But even stuff like car parts, we see it in plumbing equipment. If you're selling things like baseball caps, right, for sports teams and stuff like that, there's a lot of demand from this from elsewhere, and I think people are trying to shop elsewhere. What's important is that you go and look at your analytics and understand, are you getting hits from international? What if you have something in place, what's your conversion rate on that, and really understand how that's working for you. And what I'm seeing is a lot of different cross-border solutions now. Certainly, so we just recently announced a partnership with Zended, which is powered by British Airways. So with those guys, they basically are using their planes in order to ship from, I think, 23 hubs in the US. They have a much faster delivery time as a result. And they also will guarantee the end-to-end with tracking and stuff like that. So people are starting to, put more technology behind this and understand really what the customer needs. And in the duties and tax side, there's various solutions out there. Hurricane Commerce is a company that we partner with that has a full duties and tax calculator. And these guys will actually take your product catalog, which I think has been difficult for people to manage in the past. There's something called harmonization codes. But they'll actually feed that catalog in, and they can map around about 95% of that data in order to accurately tell what the pricing will be and also where it can ship. And this is something that changes daily. And as you know from the US with some of the tax hikes and everything, that's important to understand how much is this going to cost at this point in time. And having that real-time feed in there rather than just guessing on some of that stuff, I think is vital now. And what it allows the customer to have is a kind of end-to-end assurance of the price and when they're going to receive it. And as a customer, I think in general, not just on cross-border, this is what we want. We want to have trust in the solution all the way from when we first enter the site, right the way to that parcel arrives on our doorstep. If we have that good experience, we will come back and go there again. So I kind of, everyone talks about drones and shipping, and they go, oh, this isn't really happening and everything. And I was at a recent event, Code Commerce, and I saw a presentation from JD.com, which is invested from Alibaba. I'm not sure if it's owned by Alibaba, but they were talking about it in the Chinese market. And these drones are very much there. And I tried to explain this to my husband, and he just thinks I'm loopy, to be honest. But I think within the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to see a massive change around delivery. I think it's starting to happen. For the drone space, to me, it seems to be much more relevant right now for the B2B market. I think if you take the examples, I mean, you must see the shows on TV where they drive trucks up to the top of Alaska. Obviously, you can't put anything too big on there, but if you have small parts and something goes wrong, I think delivery to factories and the manufacturing space is going to become a thing actually much faster than we think, and it is already happening. I saw with the autonomous vehicles that they will deliver stuff around campuses in China. So students basically, you know, they know where they are, they have their mobile information, they can track them, and then they come up, they punch a code and get their goods. And also I think we're going to see this on sort of development communities, because if you can go and drop these parcels off at a single point, this last mile delivery is very expensive. So if you can drop these off and send the vehicles around, and deliver those goods, I think there's going to be a lot of investment for the likes of people like USPS in that to try and reduce these costs down. I kind of feel like what will happen is in England, I think you have it here as well, we have milkmen, right? Like we could go back to that, where you have stuff on time, you know, for you. You know, I have to drive 20 minutes at the moment to get a pint of milk up in Texas. You know, I'd love this, where I could just do this the following morning and there's milk on my doorstep. So that'll be interesting to see whether the economics of it work, but I would say keep one eye on it, because I think it's very much here now, and I think we're going to see a massive step change in this coming into the American society within the next 2 to 3 years. So what did I miss? Well, I still have quarter of an hour, so I could kind of cover it. There's a few things that are kind of, you know, people don't really consider that I think are becoming big business for commerce, and you're seeing this happening. So same-day delivery. If you know, go back to the cake shop in New York. You know, what we see is customers wanting to set up so they can do things like bike delivery on that. But it's only relevant for that customer that was within that range. Like, you don't want to be showing bike delivery for somebody that wants a cake shipped to Ohio, right? So you have to kind of be intelligent about when you show same-day shipping, and also realistic about whether or not you can do it. I think like understanding cut-off times and on your certain product lines is really important. What I see as well is that some people will say it's not same-day delivery, it's the same-day shipping out. So this is a good way that you can actually use this as a marketing tool with your customers to say, I am able to ship same day. And I think just the buzzword of that will attract people. LTL is a massive area. We have a lot of B2B businesses using LTL, and it's something new really in terms of shipping online. I mean, it's been around a few years, but I still think it's maturing. It was previously impossible to really rate large products effectively in real time in the checkout, and that's no longer the case. Like, it's perfectly possible. I mean, we have some customers that are shipping over £20,000 in one sort of checkout, and they're able to do that and split it up and give effective pricing on that. It's going to be a very big area, I think, if you're an SI and you're looking at B2B, then really understand the shipping and logistics around that. It's still a very immature market. I think there's a lot of really big offline businesses that are coming online, and the LTL aspect is really important to them. If you want to know more about LTL, then come and talk to me, or I can kind of geek about that all day long, which is a little bit worrying. And then the other side that I see is white glove delivery. We're working with UShip at the moment to be able to deliver all good sized goods. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for SIs in this space to pick up furniture retailers that right now you don't really see online. Key takeaways. There you go. Keep the complexity away. And I really think if you're not reviewing your shipping strategy, you as a merchant or you advising as an SI, you're making a massive mistake in terms of that customer. You have to bear in mind like just how important that is, because Amazon is investing there. If you're not investing, you're going to know about it. It doesn't matter what else you do on that website. I'm done. I have time for questions, but it's fine if you don't want to ask any. I'm totally happy with that. Great, thanks very much.